Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. I wanted to go over again, this is our third day that we've had this hacker mentoring live stream, but I wanted to cover again what the whole purpose is. So again, what we're doing is a little different than what you would see in a lot of other videos where they walk you through the hacks. In this case it's on Hack the Box. What I'm doing for this series is approaching it from how do you perform a professional penetration test against these targets, which obviously includes hacking, but there's a lot more to it, and we've been covering that for the last couple days. In the previous couple days we've done reports. So these were the findings that we've had for the 3 boxes that we've gone through so far. And again, we're using the Spectre Ops version of Ghostwriter. Again, it's an open source or free tool that you can use. You still have to go out and upload the findings, which is also free. You can go find them on the internet. And I'll have links to all this stuff eventually when we wrap all these streams up. But these are the findings that we've got. We've got a couple criticals, a high, and then there's multiple protocols within the medium. So we're making progress on those 3 boxes. We've got findings. Again, 2 of them are critical. Now, I also mentioned too is that I'm in the process of writing up the report. There's more to this than just identifying the findings. We need to provide a narrative to the customer, and so it is really about identifying the steps that we did at a high level, what our findings were, and then what our recommendations are. That's usually on that first page. And then we go through and we talk about the targets that were in the engagement, the summary of findings, as you can see here. Again, there's 2 criticals, a high and a medium, and the medium's got multiple targets in there. And then we'll go through and, oh, we got the stream is freezing. All right, let's see. Sorry about that. Let's see what we can do. Okay, they want me to change the bit rate, so just give me a second. See if I can do that without canceling everything. All right, so let me change that up. Okay, hopefully that will help things. Thanks for letting me know. I will appreciate any other additional feedback that you have. And let's see, just make sure. Okay. All right, so hopefully that's going to take care of it. And like I said, if there's any additional problems, just ping me in chat. I'll be happy to work through it. I've got some questions coming up, and that's great, and I'll answer them here in just a second. But let me just cover this real quick. So in our vulnerability descriptions, we have all the different findings for the different boxes. We've got screenshots, we've got CVS scores, and then we give some information about that, our findings and how to fix it, and then some references. And we do that for all of the different findings. So we got insecure SMB, we've got, let's see, here's our high unauthenticated file shares and server access, and we've got FTP here. We talk about it and how to fix it, and then the last one's medium, and then you can see that it's got a couple of those entities in there. All right, so the question is, would I also consider going through the Vuln Hub DC 1 through 4 labs? So that's actually, I've done a couple Vuln Hub targets, but I'm happy to cover any additional systems that you're interested in. I'll take that as a note. And then in addition, the other thing too is the real takeaway for all of this is working through the process of compromising a system is probably even more important to learn than just hacking one particular system. but we got to learn how to hack those systems, right? So it comes down to I need some training. This is, in my case, the way I always do it. I need some training on MySQL databases, right? So then I'll go out and I'll find those systems that are specifically designed to be vulnerable in SQL injection attacks or whatnot. So I'm happy to go through any of them. So I'll definitely take that down. So appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Was there additional questions? Yes, I will leave the links to the in the video description. So by all means, you'll be able to catch that later. Okay, great. Glad to hear that it's stable now. Fantastic. Okay. All right, so let's just go over it real quick. Again, we got Hack the Box, done 3. We're going to do for the 4th one today. Got Ghostwriter, got our findings. We've got our report, and I've started to clean it up. It's still in draft. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to the Redeemer for today. And we're going to work through that. Now, in the last two streams, I basically talked about how we do our pen tests using different things like methodologies and frameworks. So I talked about, on the first day, I talked about the Cyber Kill Chain by Lockheed Martin, and we'll take a look at that real quick. So there is the Cyber Kill Chain. Remember, there's 7 steps that they determined every hacker goes through in order to compromise a system completely. And their idea is that for defensive consultants or defensive security people, they can cut through each of those different little areas. Let's say, for example, they want to stop the attack at level 3 under delivery. They can maybe increase their ability to do the prevent email attachments or something like that, right? So, those are the things that they have said. Identify these areas to improve your defenses. But from a hacker's perspective, if this is what malicious users are doing, this is what we should be doing, right? So we should be going through, reconnaissance all the way down to actions on objectives. We should at least understand all of those. Now, what does it mean when we say let's do reconnaissance? And we talked about the PTES yesterday in the second one. And this one basically says, here are the things that you actually do. Here's the things that you want to test in each of these areas. Now, they don't match well. Certainly don't match one-to-one. Now, they're both actually about a decade old, but they weren't designed to necessarily work with each other. Each one of them needs to be independent. There's a big theory behind it. So basically, for the PTES, they've identified the things that they think are the steps necessary to pen test an organization, but they identify the systems that you should be attacking, the types of protocols that you should be attacking. So let's just go, for example, go to vulnerability analysis. So we need to identify, we need to use a vulnerability scanner. We need to grab banners if we're going to do web application scanners. Let me just increase this a little bit so we can all read it. So banner grabbing, if we're doing web applications, we need to look for flaws, basically vulnerabilities in the web app. See if we can do a directory listing brute force. But you'll notice, like, if we're talking about directory listing brute force, there's no tools in here. There's no command lines, and so that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. Is, again, we've got the methodology, which in this case I'm demonstrating as the Cyber Kill Chain from Lockheed Martin. Then we have the PTES, which is the framework that says you need to do these things. So now we need what is called in the industry playbooks. Okay, so there is a site that I keep coming back to over and over again when I'm trying to identify how to perform an attack against a particular protocol, especially one that I'm not familiar with, and that's Hacktricks. So I'll definitely have a link to this, and we'll actually use this today because I peeked at what Redeemer is, and it's a Redis database. I have almost no familiarity with the Redis database. I do understand it's a NoSQL database. That I'm very familiar with. It's very popular in AWS Cloud, but the Redis I don't really know enough about. So I'm going to have to use a playbook that's not mine in order to be able to perform the attacks. All right. So this is how we do it. All right. So let me go ahead and spawn the machine. I haven't done that yet. So let's get that going, and then let's see. Once that's going, we're going to move over to our. I'm using the browser version. I'm not setting up through the OpenVPN. Be familiar with OpenVPN because that's how I use it to connect to my remote systems. I also use Tailscale when I'm doing pen testing, but a lot of times we have to use OpenVPN because of things, right? Requirements within organizations and stuff. All right, so I'm assuming it's up. No, it's not up yet. Let's see, any questions? Oh, cool. So you're studying for your CompTIA A+. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Still waiting. All right, if you have any, I'll also say this too. If you have any questions as we're going through this, feel free to ask. I'm happy to respond to anything, and it doesn't have to be about the Hack the Box. It doesn't have to be about what we're actually doing. It can be about anything pen test related. So feel free to ask away. All right, so it looks like the machine is up. I'll copy the IP. I'll go to my system, and as usual, I will set up a document and start saving the information. All right, so typically what we do is first thing we need to do is make sure that the system is online. So I'll do a ping on that against that system and see if it's up. Okay, we can see that it's up, and I will use Control-C this time just to do something different. You'll have to watch the last time to see what the conversation was about that. All right, so we can see that the system is up. So the next thing I do is perform a scan against the target, and what I usually use is the -SV for version information. Again, there's a few things we need in order to identify if a system has an exploit, and that's usually, besides the name of the application, we need to understand the version of that application. We need to understand what operating system it's on and what the version of that operating system is on. With those three key pieces of information, we can do search exploit, where we can identify potentially exploits against the target. So -S is always in there. Yeah, John, no Control-Z this time, but I might sneak it in later just because. Why not, right? It's habit. All right, so -SV, and then I also do the -SC, and that runs a few scripts. Basically, it identifies some additional information. It's very safe to run against targets. I'll say it again because I keep seeing this: is the -A is not your friend. It runs all the scripts that it possibly can against the target, including the aggressive ones. And so avoid that, especially when you're starting out. It also takes a ton of time to run through them all. And if you've got a /24/16, you're going to blow all your time doing the -A. So don't do it unless you're doing a very targeted attack against one particular system that you are really fighting with. So, and then even then, I just recommend identifying the scripts you want to run. So, okay. I also look at the -O, simply because I need the operating system, as I mentioned. And then in this case, I'm going to run the -P, and the -P with the dash at the end basically says just go scan all the ports, not just the top 1,000. So I'm going to do it this time simply because I have a bad feeling, but typically I just run the top 1,000 because it's very rare that you'll see somebody go outside of those. But All right, and so then I need the target IP address. Oops. And then I'll hit run. Okay. All right, so as that's going, let's see if there's any additional questions. No. All right, cool. So again, what we want to do too is to make sure that while we're getting this information, we're saving it. I've said this the last 2 times, I'll say it again, is that the information that we gathered during day 1, day 2, day 3 of our pen test, we have to record all of our findings and our activities. And the reason why is because, and this is perfect examples, right now actually I just got hit with COVID, so I'm not going to be up and around tomorrow. So if this was an actual engagement, then I would know for a fact that this information has to go to another consultant in order to continue the engagement, right? So it's critical that we're saving our information and we're taking the screenshots. This is not, you know, a ride by the seat of your pants kind of a deal. You have to record everything, save it to your organization's share file so that we have continuity as we're doing an engagement. All right, so I have findings. Let me just record this real quick. Copy. All right, so what did we get? Okay, so it identified Redis. Big surprise, they told us that. All right, Redis key store 7.0 or 5.0.7, so 3063.79. All right, so let's go over to hat tricks and let's look for information on Redis and see what it has to say. So they have, what they do is they create different pages for each of the, from a pen testing perspective. So they have an actual, in this case, pen testing Redis. So I'm going to click on that, but there's additional information that you can look at if you need to. Yeah, so it's definitely a good repository of information. So let's go ahead and go to this page and we're going to walk through this. Basically, I'm going to play dumb because in this case I am dumb as far as what Redis, how to exfiltrate data from Redis. So, because it's definitely not a SQL server and it's a little bit different. So we can get some basic information. This looks very familiar to what we have over here. So Redis key store, and we go back and it shows Redis key store. Obviously we're at a little, this one is older. So we had version 5.0.7 on our system. This is showing an older version. So it's always possible that some of these commands may not work. All right, so here it shows that there's a script that we can run to gain a little bit more information using the Nmap scanner. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do that before I do anything else. So let me just go ahead and copy and paste that, and then the IP address. I got to get that again. Copy that. Oh. Paste. Didn't like that, so let me clean that up. Okay, and let's see what comes back. So hopefully it's going to get us a lot of information since it is a script designed specifically to extract pen test related information against it. So let's see what we got. So we've identified the operating system. Cool. CPUs don't care. Connected clients, that'll be me most likely. Client connection. Okay, not much information. So let's go back and see what else Hacktricks has to say. So manual enumeration, we don't need to do that, but it does talk about using a command line interface. So we're not going to do that yet. So let's just keep going. See if there's anything else. All right. So it looks like it just rolls straight into we've got to authenticate. So that's our next step. So let's go back. And hopefully there's no password because I don't have any user information on this target. Therefore, I don't have any password information. We did see, what did we see? What operating system was this? This one was, where the heck is it? OS, let me go up. Oh, what it just, oh, and I just blew away the scan data. I think it was Linux, right? It was Linux. So, let's see. I'm not going to run that again. So let's go ahead and log in. So we'll use the, hopefully there's a Redis CLI. Is there yep, there's a tool. It's already installed. Okay, so Redis CLI. I still have the, yep, okay. So I'm going to target the system. Let's go ahead and see if we can connect. Okay, refuse. Is it up? Let me ping it again. Wait, do I have the right IP? Yeah, I have the right IP. Yep, okay, so that's up. Control C. Did it. Alright, let's see. Let's identify the port then. There must be a port. How do we do that? Try one more time. Nope. It's doing port 6379. So what am I missing here? So oh, yeah, you know why? -H. It's not for help. It's for host. It's got to be. So let me do that. Okay, I guess we've got something. So what do we got? Alright, so we are in. And we're using 7.0.15. So there's a discrepancy between what we saw on the Nmap scan and what we saw here. So I need to capture that so that we don't report incorrectly what we were able to identify on the target. All right, so okay, so save that. So what's next? Let's go. Oh, you know, I just totally didn't show you any of that stuff. So yeah, so the Reddit-H, and then so I put that right in front of the IP address, and it gave me this, which then I'd hit question mark and it printed out all this. So I just collected it. Like I said, it says 7.0.15, and if we go back over here and look at our Nmap scan, well, yeah, Nmap scan showed that it was 5.0.7. So there's a discrepancy. Well, you know what? That's probably the command line interface. So no discrepancy. Take all that back. Learn it as we go. All right. So let's go back to our hack tricks and see what they have to say. First command you could try is info. Let's try info. So we'll go back and we'll do info. Looks like a lot dumped. Okay. So hopefully in here they talk about the different databases. Let's see what we've got. So Linux, yeah, we've got a Linux operating system. Let me grab this information too, so we don't lose it later. All right, got that. Copy. And paste into there. All right. So, all right. So let's take a look again. I'll go back slower. See if there's anything about databases. Let me know if I miss anything. If I go by it. Okay, memory, clients, it's probably still me. Unless there's a application running or something. Server, no, I don't see anything. Clients, memory, persistence, stats, application, CPU. Oh, no, here we go. All right, so it did give us some database information. Databases usually start with 0, so it looks like there's only 1 in here. Okay, there's 4 keys. All right, so let's go back and take a look and see what we're supposed to do next. So we did the info. Let me increase the size of this. So we got info. Okay. Dumping the database, we want to do that. So yeah, here there's an exact duplicate. Database 0 has 4 keys. So what do? Select 1. Okay, we don't want to select 1. We want to select 0. And then we do keys asterisk and then get key. All right, so let's do that. So we will do select 0. Okay. And we will do keys and asterisks. Number, flag, temp, and store. And then the next one, if we go back real quick, so we say get keys. So we'll just get the key, and if we go back here, it looks like we have the flag. So let's grab that key. So get flag. Okay, all right, so there we are. Let me copy that, save it, and post it. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me go. I have a question. Is there a group that can help me learn more about Hack the Box? Really interested in using the platform. So it's actually free. As far as a group is concerned, my suggestion, and I think this would be brilliant, and I'd be happy to participate in this, is that maybe we could get together like a little study group, maybe even have a live stream of it, right? Where we go through and we start working through some of the more difficult ones. And that way people of all different skills can come together, start working through it, and learn. Does that sound like a good idea? Because if so, I'd be happy to do it. Or just go over to the Discord server and start your own group. You know, screw me. I don't know. I don't care. Whatever you guys want to do. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, so I think we should do that. Let's plan for that 100%. I'll probably be down ill this week because I can already feel it. So let's plan. I'll send something out this weekend on the Discord server, and then we'll set up a channel, the whole 9 yards. We'll do the whole thing, and we'll start working through it. I'll record them. That way, if somebody misses one, they can go back and watch. I think that would be cool. Happy to have any suggestions. Hit me up in the Discord, because I'm sure there's some technical things I haven't thought of, but we can certainly do that. Tampering HTTP requests on recent sites like Amazon, etc. Okay, so if that's implying anything sort of like Black Hat, we're certainly not doing that. But if there's anything that you want to discuss about that, or we can talk about any of that stuff. Like there was I just found out yesterday from you guys, there's the 0.0.0.0 exploit, which allows systems you're connecting to basically dump data from your system. So pretty awesome. But I guess they're going to patch the browsers to prevent that. But, so that's kind of cool. And as far as if you're asking about how to do like maybe man-in-the-middle attacks, that I'll be doing a video on. That's a lot more complex. And I'm sure there's going to be some Hack the Box stuff too that actually involves some of that. But we can definitely cover that in a future date. So there's that. Oh, that's sweet. Thanks. Yeah. At least I'll just say, hey, we're starting this, and whoever wants to show up can definitely do that. Cool. Thanks for joining. Cool. All right, let's get back to the challenge. But again, feel free to ask any questions or have a conversation in there. So I'm not going to do the ghostwriter today. I will wrap that up later, and I will actually release the report in a link down in the description again, so that you guys can actually review it, and then yeah, so we'll do that. You can access it whenever you want. I got to clean it up. I got to get somebody to do a tech review on it, because I'll be embarrassed if I release it with a lot of spelling errors and stuff like that. So we'll do that. So we've got some questions to answer. Okay, so this video is obviously live, and it'll be live right after this too. It'll be accessible. But as far as doing a man-in-the-middle attack, I've got a whole list of other stuff that I got to get through first. So little insider information. So I wrote a book, Professional Penetration Testing, and part of it, the requirement was that I signed a contract for, was that just like the other two editions, there had to be some additional training outside of the book. And so Pentest TV, pentest.tv, the website, is actually the repository for any of the videos related to the book. And there's a whole slew of videos that I have to do to explain what was covered in the book. And I have basically until January 15th to get those knocked out. And I think there is one man in the middle in there. I don't remember if it was browser based or not. So I know I've got some of that to do, but I need to knock those out first. But there's a lot of good stuff coming your way. So it'll really basically, in conjunction with the book, walking through the videos, working with the book, it will definitely provide a very robust and complete method of learning how to do professional penetration testing, not just hacking. Okay, so there's that. Let's see. Okay, so let's answer some of the questions. So what TCP port is open on the machine? Let's go back to our system, and we found that it was, let me make this bigger. Let's see, let me go to the top. All right, so we found it was 6379, and it was TCP. So let me copy that. I don't know if it asked for that. Did it ask for that? No. 6379. And again, I like to do the pen test first so that I don't get spoils. Now I did get spoiler. I wanted to see what the tags were, and that's when I saw Redis, so I knew we were going to be doing Redis. So, but I didn't do anything past that. All right, so let's submit that one. So what service is running on that? So it's going to be Redis, but let's just go back and verify that. So we see Redis is the service, so port, state, service, version, service is Redis. So let's type in Redis. Submit that answer. We got it right. So what type of database is Redis? In memory or traditional? Okay, so it's an in memory. Let's see. So let's go back. I don't like to just spout out the information. Let's see if it actually talks about it in here. In memory data structure store. Okay. So it's given our answer. It's given us the answer in Hacktricks. So we'll go back and we'll say in memory database. Okay. So what command line utility is used to interact with the Redis server? Go back, and it tells us right down here the Redis CLI. So let's go back and type in Redis CLI. Submit that answer. Oh yeah, so Now it's just making fun of me. So what flag is used with the Redis command utility to specify the host name? I learned the hard way. It's -H. You got to include that. Go figure. All right, so there's that. All right, once connected to the Redis server, which command is used to obtain the information and statistics? So let's go back. Remember, it told us the first thing we wanted to do, first command you should try is info. So let's try info. All right. So what is the version of the Redis server being used on the target machine? Version of the Redis server. So let's go back here, and it says it's 5.0.7. I'm gonna cough. Hold on. Sorry about that. I muted it in time. Okay, 5.0.7. 5.0.7. Submit the answer. Bingo. What command is used to select the desired database? So let's take a look at what Hatrix tells us to do. We need to do, to select the database, we do, what do we do? Oh, that's authenticated. Dumping the database. Here it is. So we did select one. We did select 0, right? Because there was only one database, and that was database 0. So what command is used to select? Select. And it's also possible that we didn't even need to use select. It might have just gone default. I don't know. So, but we used it. So let's put it in. Oop, I keep hitting enter to submit an answer. I got to push the button. How many keys are present inside the database with index 0? So if we go back and look at our notes, rather than run the scan again, we see that there are 4 keys. 4 keys. All right, so let's go do that. 4 keys. Submit answer. All right, what command is used to obtain all the keys in a database? Let's go back here. So I'm assuming they're talking about the get command. Wait, no. Probably the keys command. Keys asterisk. To obtain all the keys in the database. It's got to be keys asterisk. I mean, it lists, it doesn't necessarily get them. To obtain all the keys. Okay, sure. Let's see. Submit answer. Clicking the button. Hey, I clicked it and it was right. All right, submit the root flag. So we've got this value right here. We will copy and we will paste and we will submit. And said success. There it is. Had to get my endorphins kicked off. Yay, I dinged. All right, so congratulations. We captured the flag. Redeemer has been pwned. So I'm going to actually, before I collapse this, I need to save information for our report. So I'm going to copy all of this and I'm going to save it. You won't see this. I'm going to bring up a notepad. Yeah, you shouldn't see it. Yeah, you don't see it. Okay. Actually, okay, so I'm going to show you something here. Just a second. All right, so let me go over to the full screen. So we were just talking about this. So these are the different chapters within the book that has actual hands-on activities, actual real yeah, it basically for each of the chapters. So for example, under reconnaissance, now this wasn't all of them. I've already done some of them. So, but I have to do a video on Hydra, Derb. I might do it on Derbuster because I prefer it, but I'll probably do one on Derb. I have to talk about the Metasploit framework. I have to go into delivery and talk about some of this. I'll save these guys for last because it's cool, but it's not critical. How to exploit the different protocols, how to deal with interpreter, command and control. All these videos, I think I've done that one. I'm probably not up to date on cleaning this up. So command and control, actions on objectives, all of these are going to be videos. So just giving you a heads up on what it's going to look like. So there's a lot coming down the pike, and unfortunately I feel like I'm behind, even though it's supposed to be done in January. So, all right, so let's go back here. So I've got the information saved. I will go back and, just for those who haven't seen this, let me go into here. And so we did Redis. We found Redis. And let's see if there's no findings regarding Redis. So maybe there's one for a database. Let's look up database. Now we can create our own, depending on what, but oftentimes it's just, so excessive database permissions, default database accounts or tables. I saw something. Let me go back real quick. So something caught my eye. Where was it? Redis uses a plain text. Okay, that makes sense. No, I didn't see it. I thought it said something about passwords. Let me look real quick. No, okay. Oh, no, right here, yeah, I did see it. By default, Redis can be accessed without credential. By default. So this is, so the fact that we didn't log in using credentials is designed by default. All right, so this is the conversation we had last time about anonymous access to FTP and stuff like that. If the data is not sensitive in nature and it's in clear text and there's no logins required, then it's not a finding, right? Because the information may just be easily accessible on the internet, right? So FTP, for example, may have, I keep using the same example over and over again, but that's the one I typically see, is that, patches or operating system images or, things that you can obtain online, right? But just in a local network, right? So I shouldn't care if there's no sensitive information in the Redis database, but there was a flag that was considered a root flag, whatever you want to call it, but it was considered sensitive enough in nature for now it's a finding, right? So the fact that it doesn't use credentials, and I didn't know if it's using clear text or not, but we could probably test for that, right? So so even though it doesn't by default use credentials, it should have used credentials. It can be configured to support only password or username plus password. So it can be configured. So let's go ahead and ding them for that. So we'll go, let's see what the excessive database permissions is. Principal of least privilege. Okay, we can add that one to our findings. So let me add that. Unsafe stored procedures enable no insecure database configuration. Database scan report. You guys looking at this? No, you're not looking at this. Yeah, I suck at this. All right, so let me go back. So I added excessive database permissions. Basically, users can have excessive permissions can access information they should not have permission to do. So once we're in, we had excessive access. So we'll add that. Then there's an it's insecure database configuration. We can add this one. So because it says it has to be configured and hardened, identify database scan report can identify database misconfigurations and vulnerabilities. I'm not sure. I'll add this and then I'll probably delete it later, but it gives me some flexibility. So, and they have it as informational anyway. So, I gotta. I feel like it's not working on all cylinders today. So reports. So I'll pick this one. It's finicky, right? So database. We'll add this one. Oh, you know what? I'm probably not even go back to my active reports. Haven't even picked the report. So there's that. Jump to report. Now I can do it. So this is why people hate reporting software, right? But it's free. Cool. All right, so let's add it now. Hey, it worked. And let's add the insecure one as well. And again, I might delete that one later. And I'll think about if there's any additional information that I should put on here. But at least we have those, right? So let's go back to the report. And so I've got a couple that I need to work on and post snapshots. I didn't take any snapshots, but I did have, I copied and pasted, so it was still good enough. So anyway, so that's that. I'll work on this again, and then once I get it all cleaned up, I'll post it online so everybody can take a look. And again, it will just add to what I have here. Okay. All right, so I think we're done for the night. Oh, look, I'm nailing it. Woo, look at me. I already have a VIP plus, so I don't know what they're asking me to do here. Spam. All right, so let's see. Anything that you guys want to talk about before we wrap this up? Just in time for me to sign off. Perfect timing, John. So, but definitely glad that you guys joined. Again, if you have any questions, by all means, let me know. And again, I will this weekend I will get onto the Discord server and go through that, get that set up so we can have a room and that we can actually do Hack the Box. So the question is, are we going to cover the VIP rooms or just the free ones? That's up to you guys. I mean, I have VIP access because, I can write it off, right? So for me, it reduces my tax burden. So go me. So I'm doing that, and then the next one will be up to you if we go into the VIP stuff, because for those that aren't willing to pay for additional access, then they're they'll be just having to sit around and watching it. So maybe we'll set up like a vote on what we do, but maybe like in a tier, dedicate a month to a tier or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah. So I'm gonna be doing. I've already started the cloud challenges because I have to know cloud, and they're actually pretty good. The cloud ones are pretty good. The thing that always irritates me. There's another question. So, do I have anything on Burp Suite in your book? Yeah, we cover that to some degree, but I can't cover all of it. That could be a book on itself, right? But I'm also very frustrated with the videos out there on Burp Suite, because they just say, here, we're going to intercept, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and then, bingo, bango, bongo, you exploited the system. But in the real world, it's freaking tough, right? And Burp Suite is not a gentle tool. It will crash all the time. The buffer gets too big. There's a lot of problems that you need to work through on Burp Suite before you perform a pen test. you need to be aware of, and you need to work through all that stuff. So, yeah, so yeah, we'll do that. We'll definitely do that. We'll work through whatever everybody wants to do. Only had a month of VIP, canceled it after my month for financial reasons. Don't blame you, man. I really don't blame you. Tough times. Yeah, so at least you finished the starting point. Yeah, so at a minimum, we will definitely cover all the free stuff. Guarantee. Yeah, so we'll work through it. And for those that really want to work on something a little bit more within the VIP area, we'll do that too. So I think we'll need to progress up. I don't want to just jump straight, jump all over the board, easy to difficult and stuff like that. I think it needs to be, if we're going to record these and save these, we need to have a progression, right? So people know where to jump in at depending on their skill set. So which is better? Well, they perform different functions, but I will say that every web application pen tester uses Burp Suite. Every single one. I've owned licenses for myself multiple times when I do contract work. So, it is absolutely an essential tool. OWASP Zap, I wouldn't say everybody uses it. So, not saying it's not worthwhile. I'm just saying it, has its place, and most people are more comfortable with Burp Suite and working with Burp Suite and importing tools and stuff into Burp Suite. So yeah, so I don't really think they're better, but they certainly have different roles. Yeah, I think once we get a group, we'll definitely be able to develop together. When I was teaching college, we had a computer group. Right, every school has a computer group, but we started a pen testing group, right, a hacking group, and then we had a subset of that, and there's only a few people in it on reverse engineering, and so what I found, the reason why I'm bringing all that up is because if we have a community that is working together and can bounce ideas off, or jump to, even if it's just two people saying, hey, I got some time, let's go do something. Having that support structure is invaluable, and the two people that come to mind from the reverse engineering, especially one actually is principal level or more, he's subject matter expert, fantastic. So it works as long as people are dedicated enough to do it. So, but if you guys are on here, you guys are dedicated enough, you're watching this. So taking carbon time out of your day just to watch me drone on about pen testing. Most people find that extremely boring, but I love the subject. So, all right. Yeah. Any other questions before we wrap up? We're pretty much hitting the hour mark. Kind of want to keep them to an hour, simply just because I get tired. We all get tired, right? So, okay. All right. It doesn't look like there's any more questions. I will thank each one of you for coming. I really appreciate it. And then I will set up the information on the Discord. We're done right now with the tier 0. I will set up another week where we're going to go through tier 1, and hopefully there'll be some more complexity to this, right? Because I've showed you the fundamentals on methodology, framework, and playbooks, and some of the processes that we use and the reporting, everything like that. But it'd be nice if it gets a little bit more complex. So. All right, so all right, thanks very much. I will see you guys next time. And just if you subscribe and get alerts, you guys will be informed on when all this is happening again. So, all right, let's call it. Have a good one.